Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another installment of No Place Like Homaha. I'm host JD Wonder alongside Nick Hendricks and Mikey Love. Alrighty, gentlemen. I know immediately the first thing we've got to talk about is Tuesday's games. Tuesday's games from this past week. Because, oh my Lanta, there's a lot happening. We got West Virginia. We got West Virginia upsetting Maryland. We got, what's this there? Scroll down. We got Campbell upsetting East Carolina. UL Monroe upsetting Mississippi State. Central Arkansas upsetting Vanderbilt. Scrolling down a little bit farther. Lamar upsetting Texas A&M. And California upsetting Stanford. Those are the big ones that stick out.
Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening?
The top teams not playing sharp right now. And I mean, we'll get into more of the weekend action because it continued to roll over into the weekend. But I mean, like we talked about last week, it's the first week.
Right.
You have plenty of time. Or now it's the second week. Yeah.
Already out here with unfactual information. Still early in the season.
Like incredibly early. So it's like I really don't see the problem with this. There are going to be teams that have major upsets, and there are going to be teams that have upsets down the road. But at the same time, the only problem that I would really see is that you are the top teams in the country, and you aren't playing as sharp as you possibly, or even, I'm going to go with like at a 75% season level, than say how you would be playing at the end of the year where you are firing on all cylinders, hitting the ball around the yard, no errors going everywhere. Like it just seems to me that teams are almost kind of taking these as light as possible. And I'm definitely wrong on that because I know they're trying everything they can, but it almost just seems like certain teams should not be beating like Vanderbilt, or Texas A&M should not be losing to Lamar. And we'll talk about it later. Iowa finds a way to upset LSU this weekend. Like there is so many different things that is coming out that just teams aren't playing well.
Right. And I mean, we've talked about this too, the beauty of baseball being that literally any team can show up any day of the week and all of a sudden just put it on a top 10 opponent or something like that. It's not like, in football or basketball where size really does play a factor into it. And it's like those high level Power 5 teams are going to always stomp on the lower guys. But, at the same time, we're still looking at it like, looking at this like Bryant versus Virginia Tech score 7-3, and Bryant having less hits. They only had 7 compared to Virginia Tech's 9. So they just capitalized in key scenarios. So I just don't see a deficit like that. If it's like by 1 score and all of a sudden they held on to it, you kind of understand those games.
Mm-hmm.
But those other ones where they kind of separate and create that gap, it's a little bit more challenging to kind of comprehend.
But I mean, if you also look at the that pitching stat from Bryant, I forget who it was that threw on Friday night, but absolutely came out, leveled Virginia Tech hitters. Like they couldn't get hits off the board. Like they scored 2 runs in the third, 2 in the fourth, but I mean, otherwise Virginia Tech was shut down the whole night. Or was that on Saturday or whatever that was that Virginia Tech had lost? I was looking at the
yeah, they lost on Friday.
But no, Virginia Tech was I was looking at a different score that I gave me. Virginia Tech was getting held off the board. Like they just could not get anything going. And yesterday I was watching the Ole Miss game versus Maryland. Maryland and Ole Miss are now tied 1-1 in a rubber match, but at the same time, Ole Miss, they had only 1 leadoff hit the entire day of Saturday, and that went into the 7th inning. And then finally, Calvin Harris with a leadoff single in the 7th, able to get Ole Miss back on the board, get them rolling. So, I mean, some of the ranked matchups have been absolutely phenomenal, but teams that are coming out and just holding really good offensive teams is the thing that's shocking me as well. Because like UC Santa Barbara this weekend also, they beat Oregon, who is ranked 6-2. Both of those teams I have on my CWS board. But I mean, it's like you're seeing all of these teams come out and almost just play full sloppy baseball. So,
speaking of offenses, I did want to talk about Maryland's offense versus Ole Miss. what was that, like their third or fourth Grand Slam?
Fourth Grand Slam.
Fourth Grand Slam
Yeah,
on the
fourth.
season. That is extremely impressive. And that win that they had on that Friday, it was 9-2, and they had 13 hits in that game. I mean, Maryland's looking like a team that'll be a very, very big contender in the Big Ten.
They were a team like that last year too.
Mm-hmm.
Their
Oh, for
bullpen
sure.
their bullpen this year, I think, seems a little bit better. Yesterday in the game that I was watching, I mean, they struggled a little bit. Too many walks by new pitchers coming into the game, and then if you give Ole Miss's bats a chance to kind of get hot, you're not looking at a good scenario because Garrett Wood came up with a clutch pinch hit. Like I said, Calvin Harris got the inning started. You got a freshman with a massive home run to right field to give Ole Miss the lead. So I mean, it kind of just keeps coming through to where could you see Ole Miss with a repeat title? Absolutely. Is it going to happen? The odds of it might not be there, but their bats are still there. And I agree with you, Josh. Maryland is going to be a team this year that could possibly come out swinging for the fences. And they've already been swinging it around because they've got one more game today against Ole Miss to try to take the series. And then literally within a week, they play them again in the, the Cambria College Classic. And then they got Maryland, Minnesota, and then Nebraska on Ole Miss's schedule for that. That's in Minneapolis. So,
yes, and just kind of going back to your point though of sloppy baseball, because I did watch the Illinois Southern Miss game on Saturday. Illinois Southern Miss, baby.
You think that was sloppy? Did you see the GCU game?
The which one?
The GCU
game on Friday.
Who did they play against?
Oh God, I don't know.
I know they lost.
No, they didn't. It was Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
They should have done their leg, but continue.
Yeah, so just kind of go back to that point. I mean, there's several times either team could have capitalized and won the game. The final after 11 innings was 13-14. The game lasted over 4 hours. It was ridiculous. They went through how many pitchers they go through on both sides? I know one side went through at least 8 pitchers.
Holy cow.
It was ridiculously long, and it was just like they were talking about it too, like we're gonna soon run out of pitchers here, like in the bullpen and stuff. Like they were putting in freshmen, all this kind of stuff. It was just all around sloppy baseball, and it seemed like nobody really had full control of the game ever. It was like they'd come out on the top and score off of something really bizarre, and then in the bottom half, the guy would walk the bases loaded or something. It was bad. But Southern Miss came away with the win against Illinois in that game. And we are recording this on Sunday, so we haven't finished out again the Sunday slate yet. But as far as it looks, I think Southern Miss will probably take that series, depending on how many pitchers they have left.
Well, like Portland is another team. They came out. They now have the series against Texas A&M, and that's huge. Because I mean, this Aggie team was supposed to be a team that could hit. And I mean, granted, like we said, it's week 2 in the season. We can't count anybody out yet, but I mean, it's looking like some of these younger teams or like some of these non-power fives and like really, really low level D1s are the teams that are kind of looking to give it anything they can do to be scrappy. Because like on Saturday, Loyola Marymount, they took down Oklahoma State 10-8. And it seems like the only team that has been consistent on a weekly basis has been Wake Forest. I mean, their run production has been insane. On Saturday, 18-1 over Townsend. They had a double-digit win on Friday as well. East Carolina and North Carolina were the only like full-on ranked opponents this week, and that was a good game as well. UC Santa Barbara now has a full series sweep against Oregon after this weekend because they played a doubleheader yesterday. So the Gauchos what'd you say?
They play again today.
Oh, it's a 4-game series? I'm only seeing 3 so far on this.
It's on there.
All right.
Oh my gosh, this is why we have Mikey here to check you. This is twice.
I'm specifically looking at UC Santa Barbara's schedule, and it only says 3, so I could be wrong on that, which I guess I am. But I mean, UC Santa Barbara has been firing on all cylinders. UCLA comes out, and they end up beating Vanderbilt yesterday as well.
Play at 3:05.
All right, there we go. So. And then also the biggest thing we got to talk about, Iowa upsetting number 1 LSU in the Round Rock Classic. That was probably the biggest blow of the weekend that you could have seen.
Well, yeah, I mean their pitcher, I think their closer that came in just absolutely shoved against them. He just came in and closed the game down against LSU. I'm pretty sure this is still the same game I'm talking about, but he just came in and was just like, this game's over. So I think he was pumping, what was it, like upper 90s, maybe touching 100 on that
Easy.
one?
I got
Yeah.
that.
You got that? Like you can hit it or you throw that? I
Mikey's
see.
got it.
So
He
he's just
says,
the dual threat, honestly. Shohei
I
Ohtani,
am
who?
the freshman pitcher from
Oh.
Mississippi State.
George Washington just hit a bomb.
yeah, that was impressive to watch. He has been all over TikTok right now.
It's
Which
crazy.
one?
The dude who
The-
does 96 from the right and 92 from the left.
Oh, the amphibious
The amphibious pitcher.
The
yeah.
amphibious pitcher.
Yes, okay. Speaking of stuff on social media, I did want to talk about this. The final out recorded in the LSU game came on a hitter's clock violation.
On Friday, right?
Yeah, I believe so. It was against Kansas State. Now, granted, it was 7-3, but at the same time, that really just takes the bat out of the player's hands.
Right, but this pitch clock just messed up this. Well, it's a spring training game in the MLB,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, it
they had
was.
the
I was just
bases
about to say
loaded,
that.
2 outs, bottom of the ninth,
Yep,
and the game ended.
full
because
count.
of that. Mhm.
And he thought it was 2 because he thought it was a ball. But apparently he wasn't set in the box, so I really don't.
Yay.
I'm kind of in. I don't like it. Like I like the fact that it ups the tempo, but I don't like the fact that it can penalize in that way and be like, now you're
They
out.
have to. They only have it to speed up the game. Like the spring training
know
games are
that.
2.5 hours long,
Uh-huh.
so they're trying to cater to the. This might come out. This might be a hot take, but they're trying to cater to the fan, like not the like I don't want to say real fans. That's not the correct way of saying it, but and it's not diehard, but they're catering towards like the amateur fans, I guess, in a way.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm like not making it as long, so I understand the whole like that aspect of it. But what I don't like is in like, so let's think about it this way. In football, if there's a delay of game, it's just 5 yards, redo the down. If it's in basketball, isn't that just a turnover?
For what?
Yeah, if you
Like if it's
if you don't get
shot clock violation.
Yeah.
shot clock violation, inbounds violation, and then none crossing the half court within 10 seconds. It's all just a
Well, look
turnover.
at this guy.
Right. So that's all that, but you can make that back up.
Yeah,
With this one, it's immediately taking away something, especially within like. Now, I don't know a better way to like introduce the rule. I also don't know. Do they get like warnings, or is it like
Nope.
you got it, strike? Yeah. See, that's my thing too. Is they should be like, or at least be like, you got 5 seconds, or something like that.
It's not like if you're watching the spring training games, and I've seen some of the college fields have this too. It's a clock.
The little clock.
The spring training field, the clock is right there, like in the field of view of the game.
Oh,
Which is not where it'll be during the regular season. Like it'll be more moved, so it's not in the like that center field view or whatever. But,
gotcha.
well,
like,
I think
people know the time that they have.
Right.
Well, I was gonna say, I think in the minor leagues, like at the Iowa Cubs Stadium, I think there is like a clock that's out in like the outfield that's like attached to the wall. But I'm not entirely sure about that.
So interesting thing about the minor leagues, there was a guy that I follow. He said that they trialed this pitch clock last year in AAA, and he's playing in spring training right now. He said this is not the same thing that they did last year.
Interesting.
So what they're doing this year is different than I don't know what's different about it, but
I did see the like the measurables of clock versus like 2021 versus 2022 when it was installed, and it was at least half an hour of game time was cut down.
Yeah, it does speed up the game because you're not going to see a dude like Nomar.
You sit there and
his gloves
do the gloves.
Times. Mm-hmm. Like you're, in a way, you're hurting the players more than you are the game. Because like you're forcing pitchers to speed up. They're forcing hitters to speed up.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, there's going to be then no rhythm, and I
feel
feel
like
then
there
you'll
might
see
be more injuries to pitchers.
well, yeah,
this year.
that, and then like some more injuries. You might also see then like less, hits. I feel like too, because you're gonna have that guy get out of rhythm and stuff like that, and he's not gonna be able to, so
We've
you're
already
gonna see.
seen the shift ban
Hmm.
impact too with Matt Olson.
Yeah.
For the Braves, he's hit into the shift numerous times in his first spring training game. Just a little bloop. Second baseman can't get to it.
Yeah. And I mean, when you incorporate all these rules in the sport of baseball, I mean, we've all talked about it before, that this game is like more strategic than you can count for almost any other sport, because there are so many other aspects that you have to watch out for. But at the same time, one, I'm personally not a fan of the pitch clock, like of the ending a game on it. That to me seems a little bullshit.
Yep.
Like, because that
It takes it completely out of the player's hands then.
yeah, because I mean, I get that you have to punish the player for that, but at the same time, you can't end the game on that.
Yeah, but
Like
you
that-
can't pick and choose when the rules applied, though.
That makes sense as well,
No,
but like
I
I'm
get
saying,
that, yeah.
what I'm saying though is for college they need to institute a way to like give them a warning or something. Like if they haven't had an infraction of it the entire game, there's got to be a way to be like, okay, warning now,
Yeah.
or like two
Well,
It'll be
warnings
interesting
per
to see what it
lineup.
does. Well, it'll be interesting to see what it does in the postseason for both sports at
Mhm.
both levels.
Yeah.
Because part of me
Well-
almost feels like they should just scrap it for the postseason.
I would agree on that. 100%.
Yeah, because especially with like the
Like those
like
games
the
are already
fans
going
will
to be
play a
long with all
factor
the
then and all
commercials
that.
too.
Right.
Mhm.
Saying like, but like especially like with the fan noise and all that kind of stuff and all that, like it's obviously the whole atmosphere is
Yeah.
going to play a way different factor.
Or like in Omaha, you have all the beach balls that are coming out. You can't pitch
Yep.
during like when a beach ball is out. So okay, how is that going to affect the play clock? And like another thing too, you were talking about warnings, Josh. Virginia Tech earlier in the week, they brought out the home run hammer again, and we all know
I
that
thought it was just a bat.
So here's the fun thing about that. So they brought out the actual hammer for the first home run, and then the fun police decided, nope, you can't do that anymore, because they created the rule before the season started that said, hey, we're not doing on-field props, none of this.
Yeah, what happens if they keep doing it though?
So here's the thing. The umpire gave
They're all
them
arrested.
a warning for that, and so then they started doing it with a bat. I saw a TikTok that said, okay, if you're going to punish a team for doing it with a prop, that's fine, but how are you going to punish them if they do it with a bat? It's a piece of equipment that they have to use for the game. So this is my question now. Can you do on-field props with actual equipment that can't technically be taken away because it's a part of the game? Or does that apply to literally everything? Because if it does, the NCAA needs to get their head out of their ass and say, just let the kids play.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, if that's the case, they're worried about that. They just need to come forward and be like, listen, we're just banning fun, so you're just not going to be able to celebrate anything.
Yeah.
Because that's probably what they're actually trying to do, and so this was a way for them to tiptoe around that and be like, oh, well, no on the field props and yada yada yada. And I just seen, I think it was Purdue or UCF for softball. They had like all these props in like the dugout. It was just a bunch of just like
Just brought
swords
everything out.
and axes.
Yeah, but that's not
and
on
all
field,
this stuff.
technically.
I know, but like it's just like all in there, and they're all they're having fun with it. So I don't understand why it's such a big deal if a guy hits an absolute nuke and they come out and feel like sledgehammer. Now, if it was like a danger to like the field or a danger to the other players, I get it, but like it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to prevent a field, like a brawl that breaks out, and someone walks out there with a sledgehammer and takes it to somebody's fucking shoulder.
Yeah, that I think is
Yeah.
prison. I feel like if
That'd
you
be
went
bad.
out with it, it's
No, I
feel
don't think so. I just seen a video of a girls' high school wrestling tournament. This chick lost, and she punched the other chick in the face when they were shaking hands.
Nice. Really
Said
good sport
bye.
there. Yeah, I don't see a problem with, and there was I mean Tennessee one of their freshmen, he hit a nuke, and then they called it foul at first, and so they reviewed it, and they actually called it a home run, and so he had to reenact the home run, right?
He backflipped.
So when he did it, he just absolutely bat flipped up in the air, and the pitcher was pissed. He was walking around like the mound as the guy was going around the bases, just like hooting and hollering at him, and the shortstop had to come in and be like, "Yo, like, don't."
Dude,
Well,
it's not worth that.
But I mean, like, in all honesty, if you're a pitcher and you give up on a hammered, like just hammered, even if it's a good pitch and it's gone, it's like, well, you beat me. Like,
Yeah. It's like I
if
guess
he's talking to you, then it's the point to be like, hey, defend yourself. But like at the same time, you know, if they're just hyping up their dugout and stuff, like there's nothing you can do. Like you would do the same thing if you struck out a dude and you're like, let's go, come on, like,
and I'll say it this
butthurt
much.
for no reason.
If you're gonna take a 45-second home run trot, then you need to grow up. Just hit the ball, you bat flipped, you made him look stupid, just run around the bases. If you're gonna just pimp job it, then that's fine. But you don't need a 45-second jog around the bases when the ball left in 0.5 off your bat at 104.
Right.
That's the part. That's the part where I see like a pitcher's standpoint of it. It's like, dude, okay, you already made me look stupid. I hung the ball. You took it 450. I don't want to be sitting here watching you just do this the whole time. I already watched you and try to hit me in the head with your bat when it just magically came over here on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I get it, and I've always been about let your game do the talking and all this kind of stuff. Like, have fun with it. But in the long run, I want to have fun with my teammates, or if I'm going to banter with the other team, it's going to be either because I know the guys or because I'm just trying to keep it light and fun. We're all out here having fun, but I don't know. I feel like people take it way too personally. We live in a generation where they take things way too personally. They don't understand the difference between like healthy competition and then just being mad for no reason. So.
Right. It is no bueno on that when it comes to that. Everybody's feelings gets hurt so fast.
It's true. Okay, so looking at the rest of the slate for today, right now, Princeton and Georgia are tied at 3. And another big games for today, got Cincinnati and Florida. Notre Dame and UNC Greensboro will play. Indiana, Texas will finish out their series. Dayton and Tennessee. Wright State and Kentucky, Illinois and Southern Miss will finish up. Tennessee Tech, Georgia Tech, Auburn, USC, Virginia, Columbia. Pretty much everybody finishing their 3-game stints. Virginia Tech and Bryant, as we kind of talked about earlier, would be a good one to watch. Just kind of finish up. East Carolina, North Carolina. Those have been some pretty good games. But other than that, we can go ahead and look then.
Vanderbilt.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be a big finish for the weekend.
Yeah. But anyways, moving ahead, then we'll kind of look at then the midweek stuff. Just because this episode will come out a little bit later than all that, so it won't really matter what we have to say for takes. Page not found. Lies.
What?
It says page not found for Monday's game, so apparently there's just no games on Monday.
There's only Stanford playing.
And Pacific.
A team.
Yeah, Stanford's got Pacific on Monday. On Tuesdays, big games. East Carolina's got Duke.
There's a lot of games on Tuesday.
Yeah, Louisville's got Eastern Kentucky. Maryland has Delaware. Ole Miss has Louisiana Tech. That could be a really good game kind of coming out. Wake Forest has UNC Wilmington, which that should be interesting to watch because UNC Wilmington has been a team that kind of hops in and out of the regional tournament every once in a while. So they have a caliber of team to be able to compete with these big dogs, and we'll see how it goes. Really big game on the list. I know Mikey's not going to like it because they are mid at the moment, but Texas has LSU on Tuesday as well. Air
Why am I
Force
not going to like it?
Because you always give me shit about Texas and how mid they are. My controller just fell off.
Texas is just bad.
Mid. I say they're bad.
Well, that too. Either way. So
no, I thought you were going to talk about the Pac-12.
Oh, yeah. I'll bring that up real quick. Loyola Marymount has UCLA.
Yeah,
good.
Southern Miss has Mississippi State. That should actually be a pretty good game. SEC opponent versus a ranked Southern Miss team. Number 8 TCU has Dallas Baptist. For all of you DB fans that are hoping that they get to Omaha sometime soon, this will be a good test for them coming up. Number 22, Miami's got Florida Atlantic. Virginia Tech is Radford. Throwing it all the way into Wednesday's games because that pretty much covers the rest of the day on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Radford has NC State. Number 9, Arkansas is Illinois State. Tennessee has Charleston Southern. Ole Miss continues the midweek series with Louisiana Tech. Florida has Jacksonville. Michigan has number 17 UCLA, North Carolina VCU, Jacksonville State, Alabama, and then Texas Tech has Air Force once again for a midweek series. And plenty of other.
It's Texas Tech. If you can hear us, your live streams are not good. You need to improve them.
What's wrong with their live stream?
They are just not good. We got bad quality all around.
Oh,
we have like an old school scoreboard as like the thing. It's just not good.
I'm not buying. Not vibing here.
not
vibing.
Yep. Then looking ahead to then the weekend.
You
We got some more. We got the Cambria.
Again.
Yep. The Shriners Hospital for Children College Classic and the Cambria College Classic, as well as the Frisco College Baseball Classic and the South Alabama Invitational.
God damn, these guys
and the Central Virginia Classic.
Can they? Yep. There's another one.
I think that's it. No, they're all
Yeah,
all the classics.
Ole Miss plays Maryland again for the 17th time this year.
Yeah, that's what I said. They got.
Texas Tech will play Rice. Vanderbilt will play Nebraska.
Texas Tech will play Rice on what day?
TCU, buddy. Unfactual. Texas Tech has Michigan.
They play Rice on Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got to deal with this.
No, TCU
Shriners
plays
Hospital.
Rice on Friday.
Shriners
TCU
Hospital.
plays Rice
11
on Friday.
a.m. 11 in the a.m. I'm looking at it right now, and then they play. TCU plays Michigan.
No.
How?
No.
I'm looking at it right now.
Well, I mean, if you go to Texas Tech's schedule, that says they play Michigan, but if you go to this other schedule, it says TCU and Rice play at 12. Texas Tech and Michigan play at 3.
What? Yeah.
So then they must have mixed it up on ESPN.
On Division One, D1Baseball.com. I'm looking at it.
Mikey's the only one that can be trusted here.
No.
Yeah. No, I got that too. I got the Cambria College Classic.
You got
Vanderbilt, Nebraska at noon. At noon for the Shriners Hospital or for the Shriners Children's Classic, TCU versus Rice. At 3 for the Shriners College Baseball Classic, you have Texas Tech versus Michigan.
Unbelievable.
At 4 for the Cambria
you have a
College
history
Classic
of being wrong. So
Ole Miss, Maryland at 4 for Cambria. Throwing it to the LeClaire Classic, you've got Eastern Carolina, Indiana at 4:30. For the Southern California College Baseball Classic at 8 p.m., you've got UCLA and you've got Tulane. And then finally, for the last game of the Shriners Classic for Friday, you have number 5 Texas A&M versus number 16 Louisville. Boom.
Okay.
Where are you booming?
Looking at things besides the classics and invitationals and stuff, you got Virginia Tech's playing Charlotte. Virginia's playing Rhode Island. Notre Dame and UAB. NC State is playing NJIT, which they did. NJIT made an appearance, I think, 2 years ago in the regional.
Yeah, it was the Fayetteville regional.
Mm-hmm. Alabama and UIC. Arkansas, Wright State.
Why does North Carolina play East Carolina again?
North Carolina plays Stony Brook at 3 p.m. on Friday.
And
then East Carolina plays Indiana at the Keith LeClaire Classic.
What the hell am I looking at here?
I don't know, because North Carolina has a full weekend series with Stony Brook, and East Carolina's in LeClaire.
Oh, I'm not on the right day.
Aha! So nobody knows anything. That's
Boom.
Great to hear from our podcast that nobody does anything ever. Okay,
Well,
and then
you guys.
Oklahoma State is playing Austin, PA, or Austin P. Georgia Tech's playing Georgia.
So hold on
plays
then.
Cal State,
Let's
Bakersfield.
rewind real quick because Josh is right. TCU does play Michigan at 11 a.m.
Ah!
No, that's on Saturday.
That is on Saturday, yeah.
Okay, but TCU plays Michigan, but that's on Saturday, not
Josh,
Friday.
you need to scrub
He
this
said-
whole pod. Or Nick, you need to scrub this whole podcast. You don't
Just
even
be like,
really-
yeah, we were all right. Always. Wake Forest plays Purdue Fort Wayne. South Carolina plays
Is that
Clemson.
even right?
Florida
Is that
plays
right?
Miami. Does Florida have a weekend series against Miami? Or is that just one
let me-
game?
I
Let
have
me look
that.
on there. Yep,
Florida,
I got
Miami?
that.
That's a good one. That'll be a good one to watch. Tennessee and Gonzaga. Mississippi
would
State
like
and
to
Ohio
let you guys
State
know.
playing that game.
That Old Dominion needs to be ranked. They're 5-1.
Do they have any notable wins so far with their ranked schedule?
Yeah, all 5 of them. Does Texas have any
Did they
notable wins?
lose to?
No.
Did they lose to UL Monroe? Did they lose to Portland? No.
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 They lost to St. John's by 1 run.
Butler plays LSU. Oregon plays San Diego.
This is factual. Hold on. Okay.
And then trying to just not look at games that are. Texas is playing Cal State Fullerton, yes? Oregon State and Cal Poly.
I don't know.
I'm
I don't
looking,
really
I'm
care
looking
about
here at the
Texas.
Texas schedule. I do. I'm looking at it. Yes, Cal State Fullerton this weekend.
Hold on. We gotta check something real fast.
We gotta make sure that we like
The
what?
Iona Gales are 2-4.
Oh shit!
Doesn't matter. They're almost beat
They-
their record from last year.
They
It
beat.
did beat their record from last year.
They were on a losing
No.
streak of 1, 2, 3, 4. They were on a losing streak of 4, and then they beat UNC Wilmington to cap off on Saturday.
There you go.
And UNC Wilmington's not a bad team, so they're 2-4.
Put the tracker on. They were 6-41 last year.
All
They were
right, so we
6-41.
gotta make sure they win
Oh,
more than
no.
6 games this year.
And now they're
They get into
2-4.
double-digit wins.
On
It's
pace.
considered the best season they've had.
All right.
Might be.
Well, they will play Georgetown today, actually, at 11 a.m.
Currently
So it
play-
actually goes going
currently
on right
going.
now.
They're in the bottom of the third. They started earlier.
They're playing. Then they play a weekend series this weekend against UNC Asheville, and then they will play.
Why are we talking about the Iona Gales?
Because
Because
we
we got
need
to.
to know our
Old
fans.
Dominion. We need to talk about Old Dominion. They play
You already
St. Joe's.
talked about them. They're 5-1,
Yeah, and should be ranked.
and should be right.
Who are
We'll
their
see if
wins
some
against?
things shake up.
St. Joe's, VMI, William Mary, Fordham. Who's Texas's wins against? Don't care.
Don't care. I don't care. Anyways, so looking at those will turn out those will be some good classes. Kind of started up.
Do we want to kind of break down the rankings here as we go? Because I mean, with all this
We
weekend,
can, yeah.
The rankings
I feel like we
were
didn't
very
really
wrong
change, is the
last
only problem.
week. They probably won't. Like after looking at last week, and we had talked about how much they would shake up. They didn't really move that much, and I would
They
figure they're probably
should
going to do the
shake up.
same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like-
Will LSU fall out of the top?
No.
That we'll lose their
Well,
top
because
seed. Will they?
Stanford
No.
won't take a one spot. They took it out this weekend.
Tennessee
Tennessee
lost.
should not.
And
Yeah,
they moved
there.
down 1 spot to a Stanford team that also lost.
Yeah,
So no.
I think. And Ole Miss took an L to Maryland, but I will say this: the notable
Will
thing about the Ole Miss loss so far is that Maryland has been ranked.
hmm.
That's a big ranked win. So I think even if Maryland wins the series against Ole Miss, I think Maryland moves up. Ole Miss drops back. I think the only
Ole
team
Miss
that
will probably
really
stay. I think
Potentially.
that the team that will make a move will probably be Wake Forest. They should move at least 1 spot.
just the NCAA throws us for a loop, and Wake Forest moves all the way up to number 1 after being undefeated, not playing
What?
anybody this year. But they're.
I thought you were going to say
will
they
give-
dropped just because. Just
No, I will give Wake Forest this. Granted, they have not played the strongest of schedules as of yet, but I mean their run production has been just off frickin' charts.
hmm
Like I said, you can't really do much when you don't play insane teams, but you play an Illinois team who has a couple of upset wins over Southern Miss this last weekend. But other than that, Youngstown State, 18-3 in 7 innings, 10-1 over Illinois in the second game, over UNC Greensboro, 20-0. St. Mary's, 18-2. Then you go to Binghamton, who I believe was in the regionals last year. That's a 6-0 win. And then over Townsend, 18-1. You got another game today against Mount St. Mary's. that run production should probably be good. And then throwing it through the week, you got a Coastal Carolina team who's usually pretty strong, kind of at the end, at the beginning of March, and then before ACC play. But I think Wake Forest could be that team that possibly moves up. I think Vanderbilt moves down a lot.
Why not?
I feel like they should swap with Maryland. So Maryland goes to 10, Vanderbilt goes to 13.
Yeah.
I could see that. But I just don't know. Like, I feel like the biggest changes from the first week will probably show up in like the 5th week or the 4th week of play.
I think Oregon drops out after losing a full weekend series to UC Santa Barbara. I think they're out of the top 25.
You're part of the Pac-12. Happens.
Mikey's personal Pac-12 vendetta always come to bite in the ass.
It's always funny because he's just like, no
They're
Pac-12
trash.
ever. Imagine the year that all of a sudden, like, 5 Pac-12 teams end up coming to Omaha somehow
not
because
picking
of
any of them. Not picking any of them.
Mikey picks the only non-Pac-12 team to win that year, and it happens.
Of course.
I will. Every year.
I will. I
Pac-12
picked
needs
Old
to burn.
Dominion. So
I did.
The Old Dominion Monarchs.
They're the Lions.
Okay, I gotta pick a qualm with you here. You haven't said pause the music in the last so many episodes that we've done.
I haven't been playing music.
He's been ready to go.
It's not the point. You have to say it. It's a culture thing for us.
No.
Yeah, well, Pac-12 garbage. There you go. There's my culture thing. Texas,
I'm wrong
garbage.
every episode about something.
Texas,
so it's like you gotta
garbage.
bring something
Here,
to
you
the
want me
table
to
here.
keep going for you? Texas, garbage. Oregon, garbage. Who else did you pick?
I didn't even pick Texas.
No, you're.
He's not a real fan.
Details. Broncos, garbage.
Just goes after.
Cubs, garbage.
Bengals, garbage.
Yeah, okay, buddy. When did you go to Super Bowl last?
Let's see, what was that? 2015.
Put a dick in his mouth for this part of the episode, please.
Put a dick in his mouth. Yikes.
On the editors.
As far as
wins, dubs exclusively for me. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm so confused.
Josh
Josh
saw
is not watching.
something sexually explicit.
George Washington the catcher scooped a ball that was in the other batter's box, scooped it up, backpicked a guy at first base for the last out of the 5th inning. That made me a little horny. I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit was clean.
Here's a fun fact for you guys: people who hit home runs are batting 1,000 on balls hit over the fence.
Balls hit over the fence. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you seen Jalen? He hit a bomb.
Go Jalen!
Yeah.
Podcast guest
taters. Yeah, he's hitting an absolute bomb. So again, those coaches that are out there, be on the lookout for your boy, Jalen Lee. And
you shoot him a message.
For sure.
We'll
keep him. We'll try to keep him in state. So
I'll protect him. Anybody not in the Pac-12, piss off. Texas, piss off. Broncos, piss off.
The Broncos are in
the Broncos, piss off. Get him to Old Dominion.
Piss off.
Get him
the Lions will take him.
For sure. All right.
Yeah.
But besides that, we got anything else we want to hit?
I think I'm good for the week.
You already said your list of garbage.
I think the one biggest player to watch out for this year that it's just going to be fun to continue to see is that freshman arm from Mississippi State.
The amphibious pitcher. Yep.
Seriously though, that probably is the biggest story of the year to see.
Cool fact, he actually did this in the Little League World Series too. He played for Carrasco.
No way.
Yeah.
No, he was.
But he had to switch. He had to switch gloves each time he wanted to switch sides. Like the coach had to bring a glove out to him. But here you go, dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
Mound visits were probably used up pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
just huck it from the foul line.
This has to be a question now, because granted, this is such a limited population of people in the world. Obviously, just the pitching of it.
Oh, amphibious pitchers, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing: if if you're not able to afford a glove that can be ambidextrous,
Amphibious.
yes, amphibious,
Okay.
we'll just keep calling it that. And you said your coach had to keep tossing the glove out. Couldn't you just put it behind the mound?
No, because then if
the
it's
ball can
there and
hit
it just catches it.
See, I'm wondering about that. Like, yes, it could catch it,
It's
but
not
at the
like a
same time,
rosin bag.
Yeah, it's different.
If it
between
actually,
like, a
like,
rosin
caught
bag
the
and
thing
shoe
and-
cleaning thing.
they gotta have like a rule to be able to do something about that.
Yeah, just
Well,
fundraise
the
and get him a
glove he
glove.
has 2 webs.
Yeah,
I know it does, but I mean, if you can't afford that, or like for some younger kids like that, I mean, but anyways, like I said, it's such a limited population.
they got to fundraise.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Psych
Just get
ball.
him a glove.
Yeah. Make your
If
own.
each kid contributed like $10, $20.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say, once we kind of, and like for other stuff to talk about, once we kind of get through week 3, we can break down some of the stat leaders of home runs, everything like that. Going into
Right.
2
Amphibious.
weeks, a little bit.
Well, we have, and so far, I mean, this is just true to the sport. Regardless, there are no 1,000 batting averages, and
True, but there is a 700.
well, yeah, 7 and 800s is,
Nope, just
but
700.
it's
That's the highest.
still saying though, this is a game of failure. It's always going to happen. There's never going to be a guy batting 1,000.
Never,
We're only
ever,
2 weeks
ever.
in.
Yes, there will be. His name is Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Get pranked, nerd.
Get pranked. All right. Well, again, if that's all we got to cover for today, you can find us on social media platforms at Homaha Pod on Twitter and TikTok. Again, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that kind of fun stuff. Shout out Cranio Media being able to put us out on all platforms, and shout out to Flintstone Gummies per usual, keeping us healthy
Nick is dropping
and
the ball.
combating everything. Again, it's been fun. It's been real. Has not been real fun.
Wow.
All right.
I'd also like to import that Old Dominion has the 4th ranked home run leader. So I found that.
Okay.
All right.
I don't see Texas or Pac-12 anywhere.
Well, the Hispanic Titanic is no longer available on the Texas
Because he's
roster.
playing
so-
probably for the Trash Cubs. Continue. End the episode.
All righty. We'll catch you
End
guys.
the episode. End it now.